Well, hello and welcome to another edition of 907 Sports. We're talking all Alaska sports all the time here. Jordan Rodenberger joined by Tyler Lane, and here the first week of August, fully embracing fall here. Are you in the fall mood and with the pumpkin spice and the leaves and all that?
My girlfriend's been leaving me notes at the house with their little pumpkin spice lattes, and she was just talking about decorating the apartment. So I think we're in that season now.
Oh, getting this spooky season. Yes, here we are. And with that, of course, comes football, which we'll be talking about with week 3 in the books. And a little bit of fishing season still hanging on. You know, most of the salmon are, best luck would be in Valdez, Ship Creek. No longer,
right.
But yeah, Valdez would be your best, and there's still some big halibut out there. Those Valdez derbies just wrapped up as well. But a huge halibut was caught out of Homer last week. I'm talking over 300 pounds, and there'd be a lot of great photo opportunities, standing up next to it and such.
Taller than me, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. And talk about a lot of meat as well. But for these Homer anglers, it was like a fish of a lifetime, catch of a lifetime, but they weren't really quite interested in keeping that or those photo opportunities of the meat or anything like that. That is in this week's fishing report. It was one of the biggest fish caught out of Homer this season.
You guys want to see a big fish? It's definitely in the top 5, I think, for the catch of the summer.
A huge halibut estimated to be 84 inches long and 325 pounds.
Bro, you caught it. What's up?
Finally.
And these anglers had no hesitation releasing the beast back into the waters.
The right person caught you today.
Yep, this is a conservation thing.
Despite it being the catch of a lifetime for longtime angler Gary Walker.
I was trying for this fish for 43 years, since 1982. I wanted to stress the importance of maintaining this breed stock. But I mean, it's fun to catch these big fish, but it's very, very important that we keep them in the water for future generations. I mean, we need to release these magnificent creatures back.
A philosophy shared by Kyle Metcalf of Alaskan Majestic Fishing Charters, who captained the entire experience.
And you're talking over 4.1 million eggs in that one fish. I mean, that is a breeder. We need to be focused. It's 2025. The fish stocks we know are down. The sizes are down. So when we catch something like that, showing other people, hey, it's okay. You don't have to kill everything. I just think it's time to set an example and say, you know what? I want my kids to have a possibility of catching this fish in 10 years.
An example Metcalf hopes to set for future captains, like deckhand Preston Hewitt, who helped reel in and capture the moment.
When you see something that magnificent and you see something that is going to have such an impact as one singular creature, you got to put it back.
Because there are plenty of more fish in the sea.
How would you feel if your grandchild's able to catch a fish like that? Or your great-great-grandchild. As long as we're smart about it, we can continue this fishery.
Bye-bye, baby doll. Thank you.
Pretty awesome. And, for those familiar, those wouldn't taste the best anyways. A halibut at that size, let them breed in the ocean like that.
That's what I've heard. I mean, that saying, plenty of fish in the sea talk about it. I mean, if that fish alone, as they said, can produce 3 million eggs?
Yeah. So even if a small percentage of those halibut live on, good for the fishing. And only a few more fishing reports left. So if you got any ideas, tips, let us know. sports@KTUU. That is our email for all things, including standout athletes and storylines, which we definitely saw in week 3 of the football season.
Yes, we did. A lot of the football games kind of going how we expected, except for one specifically up in the Valley, a rivalry matchup in the Valley, Colony and Wasilla High School, where it was the Warriors getting off to the hot start, 14-0 at the half. I know we'd been talking back and forth about, was I going to come back and hit some other games up? And I'm sitting there saying, hey, Colony, they're not out of this yet. They're showing some fight, and they really did that the rest of the way, tighten things up at the end of regulation. We go to the first overtime period.
Yeah.
Both teams get the answer. Colony here obviously answering in the first period. That's Hudson Broder right there. He's been making a lot of plays on defense as well. And then come out again. Colony gets this answer. Wasilla now with a chance to win the game here if they can get this and the extra point, but couldn't get it. 4th and 16, incomplete, and obviously the celebration to boot. Really just an impressive game and a double overtime win for Colony, 27-21, and for Hudson Broder, who we talked to after the game, just talking about what this game meant just for them knowing these kids off the field as well.
Man, it feels amazing. I mean, it's a hometown rivalry, was fun to do with each other. And yeah, it was a pretty close game. It was really fun. I mean, I like these close games like this. It's a lot of juice, and it's pretty fun. It's really fun.
Asking him too in that game, just from going from last year to being 0-8 in that season, now 2-1, having a winning record in the locker room, and just the difference that must feel for them. It's night and day difference.
Yes, and I do like the overtime rules, similar to college football. Get it at the 10-yard line and duke it out. It can make for some longer games. We saw a 6 overtime game last year, but let them settle it out within the trenches there. And pretty fun week of high school football because it was like interdivision week, you may call it, because that was a D2 versus D1 matchup, which we also saw over at Diamond High School. And, it's pretty anticipated matchup because we do have 2 state champions going at it. Division 2 state champ, Sohai, Division 1 state champ in Diamond, but they're heading in different trajectories, let's say, trending in different ways, and that showed throughout. Soldana dominated all 4 quarters. It was 42-0 at halftime, and I think 4 or 5 different guys getting in the end zone, just sharing the ball around. There's a quarterback number 1. Don't let the size fool you. He's making plays all over, and they're just a juggernaut once again. But what else would you expect out of Galen Brantley and company with Sohai? 56-7, the final in that one, and just goes to show they are the team to beat at any level, any division.
Yeah, they're the buzzsaw that just keeps spinning, as I say. And you guys didn't get a chance to see this, but we actually, we were going to do a little bit of a teaser before this game on that Friday night, and I was watching the JV team do the same thing, the Diamonds JV squad.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I kind of had this idea of, okay, this one's probably going to go in this direction, and of course it did. I mean, Soldotna is just on another level this year.
Yeah, and they know this offense from Pop Warner days. This is what they run since they first strap on the pads, and it pulls out an execution because even when you're so worried about the run, there he is throwing a dot for a touchdown right there. So high. Definitely the team to beat. And then, there's that contender Lathrop because they have met in the last 5 state championships. So we'll kind of see if Lathrop can get right back in that mix again.
They didn't really do that against South Anchorage, unfortunately.
No.
South Anchorage has been one of those teams that have been on the rise throughout the first couple weeks of the season. They took Diamond, obviously, to the last few moments in week 1, took Bartlett down in overtime week 2, and then into this game against Lathrop. Just really handled business. 31-7, the final score there. One of the big performers in this game, Ethan Yarrington, the brother of Cole, who was their quarterback last year. He had 3 touchdowns and a fumble recovery, and 1 touchdown that I'm still kicking myself for missing on. We were up so much in this game. We were thinking about what we were doing next, about as far as the broadcast goes, and so we were done recording at this point, right? And then he rattles off like a 60-yarder touchdown, stiff arms a couple kids to get there, like probably one of the biggest plays of the year, and I'm still mad about it.
No,
So
that's the game.
Obviously, there he is right there with the handshake. Like, this is a team that is on the rise, and obviously Lathrop, they're still going to be a competitor in D2, just outmatched specifically in this game.
Yeah, this is another D1, D2 matchup we saw, so take as much stock as you want as we're reaching that midway point. So, only so many more warm-up, tune-up games we got so far as we look at rounding out, putting a bow on week 3, as we may say. A couple of really close ones between D1 and D2. West Anchorage pulling that one out by coming down to the last play in that one.
They are extremely lucky in this game. If you go back and watch the highlights on NFHS, you will see this team, West Valley, they're only losing this game because they decided to go for 2, and they missed that by a hair. Like, that is if West Valley pulled this off, that'd probably be the game of the week. One of the biggest upsets I think we'll have seen in probably quite a few years at this point. But I mean, come that close in general is still impressive. And Service getting that close win against North Pole as well. So a couple of teams, having those scares on the Division 1 level, despite the conference change-up.
Right, and there won't be too much shake-up in the standings because these were non-conference games. Chugiak getting an out-of-state win, which was cool to see, and then Homer, they look like the team to beat in Division 3 as the defending state champions, and then Eagle River, D2 team over Barrow in the D3 level, while Palmer is no longer in that sleeper category. They're here. They have arrived.
Yeah, definitely 40 points all 3 games this year, and really the only loss coming, at the hands of, Sohai, the team
Yeah.
that we keep talking about. I mean, I think if you were to say right now that it was between Palmer and Soldotna this year at that level, it'd be hard to argue against it. Of course, Lathrop and those teams are still around, but Palmer this year really looks like they have turned that corner. We thought they would last year after what we heard. This year it seems like they're saying, oh, no, we're here.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're looking at what is Interior Grappling Academy, that's a new 9-man football team from Fairbanks. So we'll, learn more about them and get you some storylines out of them for sure.
And as we look ahead to the standings now in Division One, we're looking through the rest of the way here, but this is where things currently shake out through week. Service, West Anchorage, the only undefeated teams left at that level. Of course, we talked about it. South has been really shining as of late. Colony kind of rebounded last week. Bartlett was on a bye, but they still look pretty good. So really, you got 5 teams that are starting to separate themselves in this division. Of course, every one of these teams are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But these are the ones we have to look at right now as far as who could really be a competitor in the playoffs. If you're asking me right now, though, West Anchorage is still looking good.
Yes.
And of course, they've been there before. All the years I've been here, they've made it to the state championship. They're like my Chiefs. They're like my Patriots at
Yes,
this point, right?
you can lock them in. Yeah.
They've got a coaching staff that's done it, and they've got players that have done it. It wouldn't shock me if they keep this up throughout the rest of the way. But as you can see, some other competitors, Service, South, and Colony, Bartlett as well, that are going to give them a run for their money potentially.
Yes, definitely looking forward to seeing how that shakes out, and see. Some teams you don't typically see at the bottom of the standings. They're East and then defending state champs at Diamond. But, as you mentioned, every team makes the playoffs and still a whole second half, once teams start to get used to their playbooks, what used to each other, so that chemistry goes up. So we'll see how that shakes out. I don't really expect to see one team just head and shoulders above the rest. I feel like it's going to get pretty competitive and some fun early first-round matchups.
Yeah, not the case in D2 as far as playoff formatting goes. I think believe it's the first 4 make this situation. And right now it's about what we expected. I think North Pole and West Valley, I thought were going to be a little more in this at this stage. But to see Eagle River having that luck, and obviously everyone's talking about it at D2 right now, it's Palmer. It's them shining their way in here and just getting their appearance in there. But this is kind of shaking up as we expected, save for a few onesies and twosies.
Definitely, and Wasila's played in some competitive games this year, so we expect them to pull some out there. And checking out D3, where we did say it was Homer.
Yes, Homer has been just absolutely crushing it. They have scored over 140 points this season, and talk about how many they've allowed, just 8. I mean, this is a team that on both sides of the ball at this level has just been crushing it from the very start. Even at no hangover, no no championship hangover this season coming off of it last year. I mean, they just look like the team to beat this year. Reddington, though, they've had their performances. They've scored 70 plus this season, so they've got their competitiveness as well.
Yeah, and we do get that matchup out at Reddington High School this weekend, so maybe a state preview matchup. So looking forward to seeing that one shake up.
Certainly. We are going to wrap this one up here because, as you might hear, things are picking up here.
Tune into the broadcast.
But yes, tune in right now, broadcast live for you. And of course, we'll be looking ahead the rest of the week, week 4 in football, other stories. Scotty Gomez now in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yes, that is correct.
Some big accomplishments. So tune into the broadcast in just a little bit. Until then, Tyler Lane, that's Jordan Rodenberger for 907 Sports.